Greetings, BUSN 1360 Software Apps for Business. Welcome to PowerPoint Chapter 4, where we are going to try to earn, let me get my really cool marker here. How about a gold? Where we're going to try to earn that perfect score. Now, in preparation of earning that perfect score, we want to look at the materials in my IT lab and really thoroughly use those. Let me pull up my IT lab. So we have the e-text, which use those clickable links. I've talked about that a lot. I want to emphasize the audio PowerPoints, which are a great way of letting the computer read through those concepts to you. Might be easier for you to track. Dive into that simulation. Of course, this is a required graded activity, but it guides your hand through the steps. If you are new to PowerPoint, this is particularly helpful because you're going to learn each technique. If you are just new to this version of PowerPoint, PowerPoint 365, PowerPoint 2019, you're going to find some pretty cool new features, and the simulator is going to help you understand how to use those. Don't forget the multiple choice quiz, because it offers that reflection where you have time to think about, when would I use that? And what was that term again? So great source of reflection there. And then we're going to delve into the grader. So that's what we're going to do now. We need to earn that perfect score. We want to have a great streak here as we go through. I have already clicked this to open it, so it's in my other tab. And I clicked on download to download all the materials and had quite a few. In fact, I like to look at them. Look at all these things that we have here. And in case you're wondering, when you're looking at files on your computer, up here there's a View tab, and you can choose extra large icons or large icons, or to just see the details of the file. Sometimes you just see them in a list. So I like to see the large icons in this particular case because I see that I have some pictures that I'm going to probably insert into my PowerPoint. I see that I have the PowerPoint over here. And oh, look at that. Oops, I'm sorry. I have the result. That looks like a picture of the end product, and that is always helpful to see. And then of course I have the instructions. So I've gone ahead and opened these, so I'm going to go over to the instructions first. And for PowerPoint Chapter 4, we're preparing a presentation on Impressionism. Isn't that cool? That's art, right? And this is our final project in, let's pretend, an art history class. And we're going to mention some of the major artists. We're going to show a couple of the paintings from this movement, and we're going to provide information about where the original artworks may be seen. Now, I do like to just look through the steps, not for any details, just getting a bird's eye view. Okay, no steps that look like they're, 3 paragraphs. And look at that! 1 page! Yay! That's really great. 1 page of instructions and we'll be done. So we're just going to walk through it step by step. And we've already done the first step. We download our PowerPoint file, and you're familiar with that by now. Now, I will go ahead and open up this picture of what the finished product looks like. And like I said, I've opened that. So this is a picture. This is not PowerPoint. This is a picture of what the end product looks like. And, I can't click on it. I cannot change slides, but I can still see a lot. I see in the beginning, it's kind of like a little thumbnail of all the other slides. And so I'm going to assume that this is one of those zoom slides where, that's a new feature to this edition, where we can zoom into rather than sequentially progressing. On these little slides, as well as in my thumbnails on the left, I see, looks like that picture. Looks like I'm using that picture as a background. Might have some smart art there. Maybe a picture, some details, maybe a table of some sorts down here. So I think these are all things that we can do, that we're well prepared for. So we're just going to walk through it and go ahead and get started. So I'm going to switch over to PowerPoint. This is the file, and I've already opened it. So I'm on slide number 1, Impressionism, and let's look at our instructions. it says to click slide number 1 and to change the subtitle's student name to Marie Lapointe. Now, I have also printed these instructions because you know I need to flip back and forth pretty readily to these instructions. So let's just go back to our PowerPoint. In fact, you know I have this other PowerPoint open. I'm going to close it so it doesn't distract. Here's PowerPoint 1. It says change the student name. So I'm going to click inside of this text box and then triple click and it will select the entire paragraph of text. And they want us to change this to Marie Lapointe. And I need to be very specific with my capitalization, even though I know it's not showing that. You may want to take the time to go ahead and capitalize as they show in the instructions, capital M, capital L, and capital P. Just want to make sure that that grader understands. Save that because that was an easy step, right? We're going to insert painting 1 as the background on slide 1, and we're going to set the transparency to 75%. Alrighty, so back to PowerPoint. We're still on slide 1. Right click, format background. That's what I got to do. Right click, format background, picture, right? But we're going to insert our own picture from a file. You can navigate around to make sure you go to your PowerPoint 4 folder. And they said in the instructions to pick painting 1 and insert. Woo! Now, remember, I did not do insert picture. I was tempted to, but instead I right-clicked, format, and I'm using that as the fill. Now, this is pretty loud and I can no longer see my text, which is why they told me to adjust this to 75%. Oops, a little too far. You can type it in the box if you need to. But isn't that nice, that kind of washed out look? It's so decorative. I'm going to save that. All right, back to the instructions. Folks, we're doing good here. We're going to select the Smart Art graphic on slide 2, and we're going to apply the wipe animation. And we're going to set the chart effects to from right in the directions section. Okay, let's see, it starts to get too much. Let's just go to slide 2. Slide 2. They told us to select the Smart Art, and this looks like the Smart Art right here. Now, I'm always kind of a little leery. I did click on the shape, and I have that inner shape selected, and that makes me nervous because I don't want the effects that I apply to apply only to this individual shape. I want it to apply to the whole Smart Art. So the best thing to do is to put your mouse over the edge. It can be any of the edges, not the dot, but the edge, and click. Okay, so now you see how the dots are only on the outside? Okay, so I have those dots, and they want me to apply the wipe animation. So across the top, animations, and I'm looking, I don't see wipe. There it is. Maybe I overlooked it. I apologize. Your eyes are better than mine. So we're going to apply wipe. Whee! Did you see that? And in the effect options, which is right here, instead of it going from bottom to top, they want us to change it to from right. See how it changed? It says, and one by one in the sequence selector. So let's see, we need to, as one, okay, see how it says from right? And this was the direction. And now down below, here's the sequence. And instead of as one object, one by one. And watch the difference that that makes. See how they come in individually now? Pretty cool. I like that. Save that. Let's see, I don't think I'm done yet. We want this animation to start after, so up here, instead of on click, we want it to just go ahead and do it. And for that reason, we choose start after previous. And we want to set the duration to 2.5. You can type that in if you want. I'm just using the buttons there. And we're going to delay that by 0.25. Okay, save. If you're curious about how that looks, you can click on the presentation button. A lot slower. It gives you time to talk, and it gives the audience time to read. In real life, you can spend a lot of time playing around with the timing, trying to get it just right. Okay, but I wanted you to see that. And if I go back to my instructions, we just knocked out step 4. Now, we're going to remove the background of the picture on slide 3. So let's go back. We're going to pick slide 3. Here we have this great picture. And we're going to go to Picture Format. And we need to remove the background. So let's see. We're probably going to, is that under, nope, I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm sorry, big button. That's changed a little bit. Remove background, you used to have to do it with, anyway, in older versions, different ways. So I've got my picture selected. Big old button, remove background. See how it's got the purple? So that's what's going to be removed, and we're going to click on Keep Changes. Look how different. Isn't that cool looking? I just click away so you can see. And I'm going to save because I've done some good work. So that was number 5 there. We're going to apply the split animation to the top table on slide 4. Okay, let's just start there. I don't like to take on too much. Go to slide 4. And we're going to apply the split animation to the top table on slide 4. I see one table. I'm just trying to digest the instructions here a little bit. I see one table. Oh, okay, maybe this is 2 tables. You see how when I click, okay, so we're going to apply it, make sure I have that selected, and then animation and split. Boop. And the next part of that instruction, we applied the split animation to the top table of slide 4. We're going to set the effect option to vertical out. So I don't know if you noticed, but it was coming in. And so that's the effect here. And we want it to be vertical out. Make sure you save every time you do something. And then it says set start to after previous. That's kind of normal. That means basically you just want it to go as soon as you open the slide. You want that to happen. After previous, and we're going to set the duration to 1.5. And we're going to set the delay to 0.25. There we go. So we finished that step. On to step 7. Look at this. We're a little more than halfway done. We're going to apply the split animation to the bottom table. And again, we're going to set the effect to vertical out. We're going to set it to start after, and we're going to set the duration a little bit, 1.25, a little bit faster, and the delay a little slower because we're reading the data. I'm going to select this bottom table. It actually looks to be a whole table. So I am going to just make sure I have the whole table selected. Okay, split, vertical out, start after. We're going to set the duration a little bit faster to 1.25, but we're going to do a delay of 0.5. And if you're wondering, you know, again, you go into presentation view, see the speed? All right. And we save that, but just making sure. Done with step 7, I believe, right? So on to step 8, apply the shape animation to the chart on slide 5. So let's go over there. How about slide 5? This is our chart. Make sure that the dots are around the outside. if you select, see how I've got little blue dots inside? I don't want that because I might animate just that piece of the pie. Don't want to do that. So click away. And notice I didn't even click on top of the pie because the chart area goes all the way out here. So I just had to click. You know, how do you know? You don't. You just kind of click until you see those dots. Okay, so I've got the whole chart selected now, and they want me to apply the shape animation. Cool. Like that. And set the effect option to out. Notice right now it goes in. We're going to go out. Makes our pie look like it's kind of, you know, building up a little bit. Set to start after. Set the duration to 2.5. Oops, yeah, 2.5. And the delay to 0.25. My goal is that I don't lose points by getting a setting wrong. Now, step 9 is to duplicate slide 6. So we're just going to go down here to slide 6. I am a big fan of right-clicking. I'll tell you why. Because as different versions come about, which they do about every 2 years, they tend to move things around on menus. But if the same feature, if this is a feature you've learned, you won't have to hunt for it because you can just right-click and get a menu that's relevant to the object that you right-clicked upon. And so now you see the menu, and if duplicating is something that I can do to a slide, then when I right-click, that's going to be on my menu. So duplicate. And sure enough, there it is. Replace the existing picture on the slide 7 with painting 2. So going back, slide 7. Now I click and I see this is not a background image. See how I have it selected? And delete. And it says replace that. Click to icon to add picture. Okay. And this is the one I'm going to use painting 2. Ooh, how pretty. I like that. We've done that. Now, this is a brand new transition that has only come about since in this new version of Office. When we talk about Office versus PowerPoint, I could say either because Office refers to the collection, what we call a suite or a grouping. It's the bundle of PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and then maybe some additional software. So it just kind of depends. But it's new to PowerPoint 365. So the Morph transition, and then compress all pictures in the presentation. So I'm going to go back to PowerPoint. Now, since these two slides are similar, oops, it's trying to help me with some design ideas. These are the two, it's going to morph from 6 to 7. So I'm going to go to, I've got slide 6 selected. I tell you what you can do. You can hold your control key down and click slide 7. So first slide 6 was selected, holding the control key down on my keyboard, clicking slide 7. Now they're both selected. Go to transitions and morph. Isn't that cool? So let's think about this. If I'm back here on I'm on slide 5. I go into my presentation. I click, and there's my slide 6, and it morphs to slide 7. Cool. That little fade in type thing. It was it morphing. You can really do a lot with that. I kind of want to distract you here for a minute, and I think I'm going to. Let me do this real quickly. This is something I was playing with. I'm opening another presentation, and I just love some of these new things in PowerPoint, these 3D animations. I will tell you that this animation, if you have an older version of PowerPoint, first of all, it won't be there. But if you let's say you work with somebody and they have an older version. If you save this and you send it to them, then he will not blow his trumpet. He'll just stand there, and the kitty cat will not do all this. The kitty cat will just stand there with its pencil. So it still is visible in older versions, but they're not animated. But I've morphed each one of these things, and I'll show you kind of some of the cool things with morphing. So here's my presentation. There they're in their separate corners. And if I click, isn't that cool? Now, you may think that that's no big deal, and could you do it with animations? You could, and that's how we would do things in the old days, in the previous version. But what I want you to understand is the only thing I've done to accomplish that effect is I created a slide, I duplicated the slide, and I put the figures in the duplicated copy. I put them where I wanted them. And PowerPoint is what figured out how to get them from point A to point B. Same thing, I've got 3 shapes here, you can see them, and you can see where I've got them finalized. Now here's kind of the cool thing with these, and I'm going to show you these in the static view. I do have an animated octopus over here, he's juggling, and I have my pirate, and notice that my pirate is looking off this direction. And I have a taco, and taco these are both 3D, and what that means is that I can manipulate them. Isn't that cool? And taco is 3D as well, so he has a front and a back. Undo and undo to make sure I haven't changed anything. But in the next slide, I've rotated my 3D shapes. So all I have, again, I started with one slide, I duplicated it, and I adjusted my shapes. And what PowerPoint is going to do is it's going to be smart enough to understand how to morph or make those changes. So here's my first slide, and I'm going to click, and we actually get to see them move. And the only thing I've done is applied the morph transition. Now I can see the front of my 3D taco, and my 3D pirate is looking differently, and my 3D octopus is still juggling. I haven't really done a lot. What could I do? Well, maybe I turned him. I guess I turned him just a little. I could turn him a lot. I could, so you can see the background. Maybe he's looking away from us. And then again, here's the morph transition. PowerPoint knew exactly what to do to slide those into place. So anyway, little fun with that. Hope you enjoy it. It was just something I was playing around with. Back to work, because we only have, I think, one step. Oh, no, we have multiple. We have 2 parts to this step. We applied the morph transition. Now we need to compress all pictures in the presentation. Folks, that's so important and such a great new feature, because PowerPoints can get huge, very, very big to send via email. For example, that one I showed you with the 3D shapes, I tried to email that to myself so I could easily open it on another computer. It was too big. And what was that, 4 slides with just a couple images, and it was way too big. So I've got my picture selected here. I want to go to picture format, and up here at the top, compress pictures. Depending on the size of your monitor, you may only see just the picture. You might have to hover over it. I'm going to click compress, and they did specifically tell me to compress all the pictures, so I'm going to deselect, apply only to this picture. Deselect. Notice it also is going to delete cropped areas of pictures. Click OK. Save. That should help us, and hopefully this PowerPoint is not quite so big anymore, because the pictures, which can be big, were compressed. They look the same, but the amount of storage that they need is less now. So I've done both this, apply the morph transition, and I've compressed all pictures, hopefully. And now we got to create that summary zoom that we saw in the picture of what the end results look like. We're going to include slides 1, 2, 4, and 5. We're going to type Impressionism in the title placeholder of our brand new slide 1. So let's go back to PowerPoint. And I'm just going to go up here to the top, and I am going to insert a zoom. Again, new feature for this version of PowerPoint. And I'm going to make a summary zoom. And my instructions said to use slides 1, 2, not 3, but 4 and 5. Insert. Okay, it's telling me, and thank you, I've got it. Thank you. And in the title area, they told me to type Impressionism, and that's it, I think. I thought it was something longer than that. Impressionism. Spelling it correctly, that's the biggest part. Now, just so you can see again, I've saved that. I'm in presentation mode. If I was to go through my PowerPoints, I would click and it would take me to slide 2, and I would click and it would take me to slide 3, and so forth and so on. Let's say I'm going to go where in the world. And you see how it zoomed? And I didn't have to click through a lot of slides. Now I'm going sequentially. That's the whole point. And you can have, obviously, more than one zoom slide. You can have them for sections and things as well. Folks, did we do that? Well, the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? So let's see. We have to submit this for grading. Because I almost made one mistake already. Let's save. I'm going to close that. I'm going to go back to my IT Grader. Choose my file. This is it. I'm Betty Baker, my pretend student. Upload. There's my success. So far so good. Submit for grading. Fingers crossed. Oh, the close even worked. Okay. It's going to keep me guessing. Make me nervous. I'm going to click the 3 dots and then view submissions. Hey, first time. All right, folks. So, you know what that means? That means that if I can make a perfect score, you can make a perfect score too. Just follow those steps. And I hope that this video has been helpful, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.